Good morning, how y'all doing? That was kind of lackluster. I know it's early, but we'll wake up real quick. Good morning, how's everyone doing? I was a lot better. So here's the deal, right? So I'll ask this really quickly. How many folks have seen spoken word, performance, poetry? Okay, this is good, this is good. So then you all know that this isn't the typical poetry reading where I read, you sit quiet, and you give me the appreciative golf clap at the end. Whether or not you like it is irrelevant, you still clap, right? This is not that, right? This is a performance where I'm a really energetic performer, right? I give a lot of energy, but I can't give you all my energy without you giving me some back. You know, energy, reciprocal, here we are, yay. But I can't give you all my energy without you giving me some back. That means that if I say something in the middle of this poem that makes you want to laugh, clap, yell, holler, high five somebody, by all means do so. I'm saying it's Monday morning. Let's kick off this symposium right. Let's have a good damn time. Is that okay? Yes, is that okay? Yes. Good. Here we go. I'll start with this. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one destiny affects us all indirectly. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I start with that really quickly, obviously because it's Dr. King Day. Yay, happy Dr. King Day. But also, I noticed that this quote, which comes out of why we can't wait, is often used in environmentalist circles. And I'm interested in how that's used because this book, which is above all about the nonviolent movement, about the civil rights movement, and about sort of how racism functions onto Black people, gets used, and I want to remind us that this is not a deraced context quote, it is not a degendered quote, but it's one that is wrapped up in both our similarities and our differences, and how we are all in the same ship, but not in that ship in the same kind of way. Does that make sense? Cool. Keep that in mind as I start this. Poem. I don't really title poems, I just say poem before I begin. I'm terrible that way. In 1946, Jacques Haim introduced the modern bathing suit, a minimalist two-piece design he named the Atom, after the smallest known unit of ordinary matter. To promote his design, he hired skywriters to advertise, quote, the world's smallest bathing suit, end quote. Not to be outdone, however, Louis Riard, with nude dancer Micheline Bernardini and his own team of skywriters, introduced and advertised his version that was, quote, smaller than the smallest bathing suit in the world, end quote. He called his bathing suit the Bikini after, of course, the Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands that the U.S. just 5 days prior tested its first of 23 nuclear bombs on. If you strip it down and pay close attention, you'll see that it's all just smoke and mirrors. True story. I did not know how expensive avocados are until I became an adult. The woman next door to my grandmother's house had this huge avocado tree. She begged the neighbors to take them so she wouldn't have to clean her backyard so frequently. My grandmother loved collard and mustard greens. One time, she instructed me to take some to the woman as a thank you. The neighbors often traded fruits and vegetables, what we all now call a co-op. You once called poor. True story. The Gap Band, who, like my grandmother, were from Oklahoma, got their name from the popular streets of Greenwood, Archer, and Pine in the Greenwood district, a Black neighborhood in Tulsa. More than 2 decades prior to the U.S. testing atomic bombs in the Marshall Islands, they dropped burning turpentine balls via air raid on Greenwood, also known as the Tulsa Massacre on Black Wall Street. If you're still paying close attention, you'll see that it's all just smoke and mirror. True story. During the Middle Passage, sharks trailed slave ships from one end of the Atlantic to the other in order to feed on those who were thrown overboard. Ultimately, the Atlantic slave trade changed the entire ecosystem. This blew my mind when I first read about it. True story. When I was young, we labeled everything we thought good the bomb. The burritos on Vernon and Hooper Avenue were the bomb. The chicken wings close to my high school were the bomb. Jordan's the bomb. My Lakers, always the bomb. Interestingly enough, the way we treat the environment environment, often using the bomb is not the bomb. Yet, if you're still paying close attention, you see that it's all so explosive. A quick lesson in the bomb. In the mid-20th century, the Las Vegas population doubled and tripled in part because people wanted to be near the atomic bomb testing that regularly occurred in this once isolated desert. They wanted to be near the new and exciting science, the mushroom clouds, you know. They wanted to be near everything the bomb, which you might have guessed is not the bomb. They say it takes an atomic bomb less than a microsecond to fully explode, which means we have no time left before it all goes boom. Here's what I know. In 1977, the U.S. worked to clean up the estimated 73,000 cubic meters of radioactive waste it left strewn across the Marshall Islands as a result of its nuclear testing. They created a concrete dome nicknamed the nuclear coffin. The coffin is now cracked and leaking, which means the dead are spilling out, which means the world is becoming a horror film, which means the monster is already here, which means we have no time left. My grandmother always taught me that if you take care of home, then home will take care of you. From nuclear testing to carbon emissions, some of us treat the planet like an unethical science experiment, which means the ice is melting, which means the sea level is rising, the planet is warming, the world is toxic, which means we have no time left. At this point, debating climate change is like trying to have a philosophical discussion about air with a drowning person. It's like lecturing a starving person about unhealthy food choices, like complaining to the homeless about the expense of home ownership. Here's what I know. Climate change is here. It can be irreversible by 2030. We are all at risk of losing 1 million species. Major cities will be soon underwater. It will create a refugee crisis. The world's richest populations create the most emissions, yet the world's poorest populations are most at risk. Climate change is not simply a human issue, but it is also a race issue, a gender issue, a class issue, a sex issue. Some island nations produce near zero emissions but cannot think about climate change. Instead, they must think about climate adaptation. In the US, some of us cannot think about the climate because we're too busy thinking about housing, about food, about the police state, about if our children will be in cages because of the border, about if I will be alive tomorrow to even worry about 2030. What does it mean that I am asked to save a world when the world we established does not work to save me? When Dr. King said, we are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, he meant that we cannot save the oceans without saving the land, without saving the trees, without saving the animals, without saving the homeless, the refugees, the poor, those without health care, those dying at the hands of the police, or without stopping greed, without loving those who pray to a different God or those who do not pray at all. True story. Scientists have discovered that 10 years after the U.S. bombed the Bikini Atoll, the ecosystem started to recover without human intervention. And it is now beginning to thrive. What Dr. King meant, what the Bikini Atoll is so desperately trying to teach us, is that we cannot save the world for ourselves. We must save the world for the world. And when necessary, we must get out of the way and allow the world to save itself. Thank y'all for letting me see y'all this morning.